Hello everyone, how's it going? So this is an orange cake with orange cream and streusel I made for a picnic, but it was cancelled last minute. That's why I used it for a plating practice, which is the picture you see here. So I started with the orange cream. I added 320 grams of fresh orange juice and a teaspoon of orange zest in a pot and bring them to a boil. In the meantime, in a bowl, I added 3 egg yolks, 65 grams of sugar, and 28 grams of cornstarch, and whisked them together really well. When the orange juice is heated, I temper the egg yolk mixture by pouring in half the hot liquid, whisking very vigorously so it doesn't turn into scrambled egg. Once I thought it was good enough, I added the rest of the juice and kept whisking until all the cornstarch thoroughly mixed in. Then I poured the whole thing back into the pot and brought it to the stove and cooked it over medium-low heat. Like any other custard or custard sauce, I had to keep whisking, scraping the pot including the corners to make sure, again, nothing gets scrambled and burned. A couple minutes later, the whisk is starting to leave tracks on the cream. That means it's starting to thicken. One time, a chef in school said she usually looks for the first bubble and cooks the cream for another minute or two after that, and that became a golden rule. So I kept cooking and whisking until I saw the first bubble, and then after that I cooked it for another minute or so, and then I turned off the heat and it's ready. And then after that I let it cool for a little bit, and then I added in 40 grams of cold butter and then whisked that in as well. Once that's all blended in, I transferred it to a bowl, then covered it with saran wrap. Make sure that it's touching the cream so no skin form. Then into the fridge it went until it's very well chilled. It tasted amazing. Next is the cake. So I started out by creaming 120 grams of butter until it's creamy and smooth. Then I added in the amazing ingredient, orange zest, 3 teaspoons of it. And then mixed it in with the butter. Now that's 145 grams of sugar. Cream it until pale and fluffy. Next is 2 eggs, one at a time of course. Once the eggs were in, next is the dry ingredients and the orange juice. Dry ingredients are 150 grams of flour, 30 grams of cornstarch, a pinch of salt, 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. I didn't bother sifting the dry ingredients because I did use a wire whisk to combine everything together very well, and that should also have broken up any lumps. A rule of thumb for the dry and wet is to add them in additions and alternate between the two. So I added about 1/4 of the dry, mixed it, and then add in 1/3 of the 190 grams of orange juice, mixed it in, and then flour again, then juice again, and then repeat it until everything is in. Not sure if you can see it, but I did split the batter a little bit. Talking to a friend after made me realize that it might have been because the juice was too cold, but like she said, if the texture turned out fine, no big deal. So I learned a lesson and moved on. Now here I had a baking tray already prepped. It's just some nonstick spray and then a piece of parchment paper on top. I spread the batter as even as I possibly could. Then I put it in a 350°F preheated oven or 175°C for about 18 to 20 minutes or until golden brown, and toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean. I consider not to include the streusel part because I made some mistakes with this one. But hey, this is a channel about me learning, so that's fine. First of all, I put way too much sugar, and then second, my butter was too soft, and last, I made a double batch just in case and I regretted it. For an adjusted recipe, I would put 25 grams of sugar, 15 grams of flour, a pinch of salt, and 15 grams of cold butter, and I essentially just mixed everything together until it became crumbly. Then I dumped it onto a baking tray and baked it for a few minutes until it's golden brown. You could break them into smaller pieces after if you want, which I did. Caution: if you don't have a cooling rack, make sure you have another baking tray or something similar on hand. I struggled so bad because I forgot about the flipping the cake out part, and I used my only other baking tray for the streusel, and it was in the oven. And if you know any way to do it better than I did, please comment down below and let me know. Anyway, the cake now had cooled down, and I just went ahead and cut in half for assembly. First is to brush some fresh orange juice for extra moisture and flavor. I should have soaked it at least twice more. Then is half of the orange cream. Spread it out as even as possible. Now the other piece of the cake, orange juice again, and then orange cream again. I didn't use all of my cream because I wanted to use it for something else, but you should because it's so good. Trim off the edges if desired. Then of course it's portioning time. Portion it as small or as big as you want. I did a 3x4 to get 12 pieces. Before serving, I crushed some of the streusel and put some on a diagonal. If the streusel wasn't that sweet, I might have covered the whole thing. Overall, it's still quite nice though. The cake was soft and moist, and the cream is tangy and super orangey. The streusel gave a very nice crunch. Actually a little bit too much crunch than I intended because I added too much sugar, but it's still nice. Put some nuts on, or some nuts instead if you want. It'd be nice. So if you decide to make this cake at home, please comment down below and let me know what you think and any suggestion on how to make it better. And if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to me for more videos to come. And thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.